Mariners lose 2-1. They fall to 52-45 on the season. They've lost two of the 4-game set. They've lost 2 of 3 in the 4-game set against the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Let's go over the scoring plays. Mariners get 1 in the first on a J-Rod single to score J.P. Crawford. Angels get 2. Joe Adell singles to right. Moniak scores on an air by Luke Raley. 2-run score on the play. 2-1. End of scoring. Before we get into the positives, the negatives, all the stuff we usually do, I am going to go live for the MLB draft on Sunday. It's going to be for everybody. I'm going to have something special for Mile Y enthusiasts. Can't tell you what it is yet, but it's going to be pretty cool. I think it's cool anyway. I think it's something that's well worth doing that I'll have on Monday for $4.99 a month, and you get a chat a week, even though I forgot to do the chat last week. And yeah, $4.99. But I will be going live at 4:00 Sunday to talk about the MLB draft. I'd really appreciate you guys coming on in. It'll be fun. Be interesting to see what they do. I'll probably just do that chat through the first round. You'll also see me working during that because I'm covering the draft for NBC Sports as well. But all that is me. Well, you don't need to know what I do. The positives in this game, George Kirby was fantastic. Should have only given up 1 run. You could argue maybe 0, but definitely 1 run is on him. The other run is not. We'll talk about it. He's been fantastic. I think I read somebody posted that he has an ERA of like 2.19 since the middle of May. Doesn't surprise me. He's been phenomenal. The starting pitching, as frustrating as this team is, it has nothing to do with the starting pitching for the most part. Nothing may be too strong a word. It's certainly not the reason why we're frustrated with this baseball team, right? George Kirby has been fantastic. Strikes out 7. I did have to tweet the word bumfuzzle twice because he issued 2 walks, but I thought his stuff was absolutely outstanding. Austin Voth did a nice job. It was good to see him bounce back. You know, he gave up the double to lead off that inning and then looked very, very good. Nice to see a bounce back after his struggles, short struggles, but struggles last night. And Colin Snyder's good. I continue to be really impressed with Colin Snyder. He threw a couple of nasty sliders today. I really like Colin Snyder. There's 2 offensive positives here. There's 3 offensive positives here. Number 1, Julio had a good day. Did have the strikeout. Ben Joyce is ridiculous. I'm not going to go. Well, we'll go into the Ben Joyce inning. Of course we will. And Victor Robles, got to play him more. Not only is he a massive upgrade on what they get defensively in the corner outfield, but he swung a really good bat for the Seattle Mariners. 3 hits today. Julio reaches 3 times. And here's the third positive. I refuse to believe that the Mariners watched this game. It didn't say, oh, crap, we have got to upgrade this offense. I just refuse to believe it. Simply Seattle provides the very best in Seattle sports gear. There's great stuff for the Mariners, of course, but there's also the Seahawks, the Huskies, the Cougars, the Storm, the Sounders, Kraken, Supersonics. You can find it all at simplyseattle.com. Once you find it all, use code MOLLYWOP15 to save 15% on your order. MOLLYWHOP15. Awesome deal. Great people. Shows you're supporting this show. Shows you're supporting Simply Seattle. And you also get a nice little discount on the very best Seattle sports gear you can get. Thank you so much, Simply Seattle. Oh, boy. This... I've talked about it before. Not all losses are equal. They all count the same. But boy, they're not. And boy, is this one a kick in an area you don't want to get kicked. Really don't want to get kicked. I don't know if there's a good area to be kicked or not. But this is one area that you really don't want to get kicked in, and it's felt like a couple of them. Just a couple of whams. Before the offense thing, I want to talk about that play because this may be something people disagree with or whatever. I don't think you'll disagree, but That throw from Luke Raley was bad. I thought the effort from JP Crawford on that throw was unacceptable. And I am not a JP Crawford hater. I'm proud of my son and the improvements that he's made at the plate. He had a great at bat tonight. Looked really lackadaisical on that play. And then some bad luck happens, and Josh Rojas runs into the runner, and that's why that second runner is able to score. But that doesn't happen if JP Crawford gets in front of that baseball. And I'm not excusing the throw from Luke Raley. I'm not even kind of excusing it. It was a bad throw, and we'll talk about Luke Raley's day. But you got to get in front of that baseball, man. That has to happen. And it's ultimately the reason why the Mariners lose. Now, I don't know if they were going to score another run today. It's still 1-1 if not for it. Maybe they're still playing. Oof, goof, that was a bad effort. And a bad throw doesn't excuse the bad throw. But I feel like JP Crawford should have gotten in front of that baseball. All right, so there's that. Some really bad offensive efforts. And look, let's talk about the Ben Joyce inning too, because look, Victor Robles gets the double. Why did I say look like 6 times? Oh, it's because I can't help but repeat myself. Robles gets the double. And then Crawford strikes out, Big Dumper strikes out, and Julio strikes out. All 3 of those pitches were nasty. Somebody's got to make contact there. Somebody's got to make contact. And we know it's not impossible because we watched Victor Robles hit the double off of him. I will say, though, that was some of the best stuff I've seen from a reliever this year. And there's a reason Ben Joyce is kind of considered by a lot of people kind of the next big thing in terms of relievers. I believe that's now 14 1/3 consecutive scoreless innings, which isn't that impressive, but it's good. And you saw that stuff. When you can throw 105 miles an hour, and we rounded up to see a 105-mile-per-hour fastball from Ben Joyce in this series, and you also have a 92-mile-per-hour splinker or change, whatever the heck they want to call it, that guy's nasty. Having said that, your 3 most high-profile hitters in a situation where you have a runner on second base and no out don't get the job done. Can't ignore that either. Give credit to Ben Joyce? You bet. You bet. Love to see that guy on the Seattle Mariners. Imagine Ben Joyce and Andres Munoz and Matt Brash and Greg Rusin. Ooh, that'd be fun. But you can also say, hey, your hitters got to do a better job there. And your hitters were pathetic tonight. Outside of Julio and Robles, this offense stunk out loud. And Mitch Garver drew a couple of walks. Okay. But JP, he has a really good first at bat. Did foul off some hittable pitches, but he ends up getting on. And Riley gets his single, and then Julio knocks in that run. You got your first 3 runners on against a pitcher who is coming off the injured list and has shown flashes of brilliance in Jose Soriano, but the type of pitcher, if you're a playoff team, that you should score 4 or 5 runs against. You didn't come close, because after that first inning, and really after the first 3 batters, the Mariners' offense was anemic. They did get a couple bases loaded chances, though, and Luke Raley played one of the worst games of any Mariner I've seen this year. If I'm putting them in order, and I don't want to do this, but I'm going to, 1-1 is still Mitch Haniger against Atlanta that day. Number 2 is Jorge Polanco, and I don't remember what day it was, but pick one. And then today, Luke Raley, because he had 2 pathetic at-bats with the bases loaded. Pathetic. And Luke Raley's numbers don't look all that bad. 241, 295, 420. I know it's weird to say that those aren't bad numbers, but in the year of 2024, they're really not. They're not great numbers, but they're really not bad. Horrible. but so much of that is carried by just a red hot streak in May. Outside of that, Luke Rayleigh's been pretty darn bad. And I know people really like Luke Rayleigh, and he's fun to watch because he runs like Phoebe Buffet. We've brought it up a couple of times, and I'm so mad that so many people stole that from me. Oh man, does he take some horrible at bats? And he did today. I also got to say, and I know Big Dumper has been red hot. And Julio also, the last week or so, has been phenomenal. Even with a 4 strikeout game, what Julio Rodriguez has done over like the last 4 out of 5 games has been amazing and a wonderful reminder of how good he is. I don't understand changing the batting order. I don't get it. And there's a lot of studies out that show that the actual batting order, for the most part, doesn't matter. You want your best hitters hitting at the top of the lineup, of course, because you're going to get them more plate appearances, and you want guys hitting in the middle who have power because those guys get on base, blah, blah, blah. You guys know how baseball works. If you don't, I would happily come to your, I'm not going to come to your house, but we can meet somewhere and, talk about it. I have no problem. I don't want to sound like I'm talking down to anyone, and I also don't want to assume too much. I just wrote an article, by the way, where I had to explain, according to my editor, one of the best editors in the world, by the way, Eric Nussbaum. He said people aren't going to know what regression to the mean means, and I said, "Oh, okay." So he explained it. Anyway, that was a long-winded way of saying that. Why did you change this? I don't understand it. I just really don't. And I'm not saying that's the reason the Mariners lost, but I don't get it. I don't get it. Some really bad offensive games, though. Rayleigh, France, and Polanco were awful. France gets hit, and happy birthday to him. Of course, he got a hit on his birthday. If you didn't think Ty France was getting hit by a pitch on his birthday, you haven't been watching Ty France. Polanco was bad. Rojas was bad. And Crawford, outside of that walk, was really bad. And I mentioned that I'm looking for positives here, right? I'm looking for the good. And there is good. You're still, thank you. Thank you, Texas Rangers, for winning that game. Your offense was so bad today, but you're able to get just enough to get that win. The Mariners are still one game ahead of the Rangers. And no matter what happens tomorrow, by tiebreaker, the Seattle Mariners will be in first place. They may be tied if they win. If they lose and the Astros win, they may be tied. But by how this works, the Seattle Mariners will technically be in first place at the All-Star break, which is cool. It's not great to be only a game up when you had a 10-game lead not that long ago, but still in first place. Opportunity. Crisis presents opportunity sometimes. And crisis may be the wrong word, but struggles present opportunity. But boy, it's tough to be positive after a game like this. Losing yesterday stunk. Maybe it just didn't hit me as hard because I was just so exhausted. Thanks everybody for watching that video, by the way. Don't remember recording it. I was so tired. So tired. But this one hit me. And this one was just too unfriendly of a reminder of how bad this offense is right now. And yes, they need to address making moves. No question, or address making moves. They need to address this offense by making moves. There's no doubt about it. Multiple moves, in my opinion. But some of these guys just got to play better too. Mm. Tomorrow it's Logan Gilbert going against who cares? I don't remember. Doesn't matter either. If Walter pitches like Walter, the Mariners win. Well, maybe because Logan Gilbert was phenomenal today and they lost. So maybe I should shut my pretty little mouth. This is just what stinks about this is a 4-2 road trip is normally pretty good. But after you won the first two against San Diego and you're playing a Angels team that again, I just think I just said it, they're not good. 4-2 feels like a major disappointment. And a loss, 3-3. Whew, I don't even want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. Please come to the chat tomorrow. We'll start at 4 o'clock. We might start a little bit early. Just for S and Gs. And then hit join so you get some really cool draft stuff that I'm going to do. I'll do some stuff for free as well, but I'm going to do a bunch of stuff for my subscribers because I appreciate the hell out of them. I appreciate you guys too. The the people who just don't think this is worth it, totally fine. But I never know how to phrase that. But I really appreciate all the support from everybody. There you go. There's my talking out of both ends thing. And then one more reminder, Monday through Fridays next week, hosting from 12 to 3 for Ian Furness. And I would really appreciate you guys listening. Going to have a very special guest on Wednesday for that too. I'm excited. Very excited. I know Monday I'll also have Keith Law's special too, but I've got somebody whom you might be surprised is going to come. I'm not surprised because this guy is one of the best people in the sport, but I'm really excited. I wish I was excited about this game. Yuck.